it's Antoine, right? Like pronounced it the French way or in a different way?
If I well, in Dutch it would be Antoine, but I think in
Antoine.
English many people call me just Antoine. Antoine is perfect.
Those,
Um,
this
okay.
is going to sound really bad, but those sounded exactly the same to me, which is probably my English ear. Is there?
Yeah, there's this very small difference. Yeah, it's either way good. It's fine
Okay,
as
Antoine.
long as
Okay,
you
okay.
don't say Anthony or something. Many make that mistake. That is wrong.
Okay, well, welcome, Antoine. We're super happy to have you here on SwiftLounge. I hope at the end you're not like, who are these weirdos? But yeah,
No.
we're both fans, of you of your blog. So yeah, super excited to have you here. And just a quick introduction, if any of our listeners don't know you, but I'm gonna safely assume that they'll know you, just because yeah, you are one of the most prolific iOS bloggers I think around, with your blog avanderly.com, and yeah, it's been around since many years, 2017 or 2018? 2017.
Well, 2015, but I think I did two
Oh,
years nothing, and then 2017 I decided to take it a bit more serious, and then it really started. Yeah,
nice. So yeah, 2015, almost 9 years. So technically next year is going to be 10 years of the blog. That is
you're
really,
right. In a way, yeah. I never thought about it. That's a good reminder.
yeah, celebrations. Like I'm expecting a banner with like confetti or something. I don't know, just some ideas. And
I just
Yeah,
need.
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
We just need to get stickers. Stickers are the most important thing.
stickers, yes,
That is good.
yes. Do you have stickers of the blog?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, I will. I will. Let me quickly see if I can show you them because I got
Oh,
several iterations.
Ooh.
But these are the latest ones, and they're
oh,
shiny. You see that?
I love a shiny
Yeah.
sticker.
So this is Rocket Sim, my developer
Ooh.
tool,
Amazing. Oh, I
and
love autism.
um, yeah, and this is the Swiftly one. And I'm not just throwing them on the table. You really need to ask for them. So that's a hint. But I'll bring them.
And you'll have to get there before me because I will be taking loads.
But fortunately, I have so I am a big fan of like shiny stickers. So this is my work Mac. Um,
Wow. Okay. Oh, damn. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I recognize a few.
My favorite one is, if you've not seen this, I've got a sticker. It's kind of faded, but it's a sticker of my old laptop. So I carry all the stickers from my old laptop through to my new laptop.
Yeah.
oh,
Oh, it's so sad, If you're the first on the MacBook, you'll be the last eventually, right? So I'm
Mm.
kind of happy that your MacBook is already full of stickers now.
so yeah, you're gonna be at the top. But fortunately, I'll bring my
Exactly.
personal Mac has no stickers so far. So it might be one of the two. Might be the first sticker on my personal Mac. So
Ooh.
let's see. Um, but yeah, no, super happy to have you on. And yeah, for also to remind our listeners, Antoine is going to be speaking at SwiftLeeds. So
Yeah,
it's your first. You haven't come to SwiftLeeds yet, right? It's going to be your first time.
I did actually. I
Did
think I'm not sure if it was the first edition, maybe the second, but I'm not entirely sure about that. But I think it was 2020 or something. The thing I remember is that I did a talk and I did a live demo, and just like with every live demo, things can go wrong. But for mine, it went terribly wrong. And the funny thing is, the thing that I always remember is that it wasn't a bad thing that it went wrong. People really approached me afterwards, like that was the best thing that could happen. We saw you trying to solve it on stage, putting all your debugging skills in action. Like there were all kinds of extra learnings from that failure that I could never predict or even hope to present in a way. So I guess I was happy that I could kind of like handle it well without nerves or something. I just like, let's fix this and have fun about it. But yeah, that's a great
Ooh.
reminder of that first appearance, so to say.
So I think I wasn't there for it because I've been to season 2. I've been to SwiftLeeds 2 and SwiftLeeds 3. So it must have been the first one. That sounds amazing. That
It,
sounds really cool. You were there,
yeah, that was fun.
Ollie?
I was there. Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, when you said he hadn't been, I was like, that's not true. I'm sure. But yeah, we've had because I think that there was also, I can't remember, was it you that we had the height competition with Ibrahima as well, like the 2 tallest iOS developers, or
Oh, probably. Yeah, that's a returning challenge, you know. I can't remember losing any time, but yeah. Yeah,
Well, I
so challenge accepted for this edition too. Yeah.
I remember actually now. So with Ibrahima came to the second edition, so to SwiftLeeds 2 when I was there. And I remember they were like, oh, we need to measure Ibrahima to see if he's taller than Antoine. So I don't think there's been a live showdown, but that would be. How tall are you, Antoine? Sorry to ask. Now I need to know.
Yeah. So I'm 2 meters and 3 centimeters, or 6'6" in feet. That's pretty tall,
Wow.
I think, for most people. Yeah.
Not many people know this, but I'm actually 6'2". I'm not. Sorry, I'm not. I'm not. I'm
you've got
like
the
no.
energy of someone 6'2".
I do. I feel like I have the energy of a tall person. So I feel like, yeah, I'm weirdly. I think I've grown in the last 2 years. I think I've grown 3 centimeters, but everyone thinks I'm crazy because I am 29. Like you're technically not supposed to grow in height, but I think I've grown. So I think now I am 5'6". But I don't think it might not be accurate. But anyway, sorry about that. Well, Antoine, welcome to our shenanigans-filled SwiftLounge. We have to ask you the most important question that we're going to ask because we're recording in the morning at 8 a.m. This is a breakfast podcast. So, what is your favorite
Uh-huh.
what is your favorite breakfast, Antoine?
I think it would be scrambled eggs. I'm a really big fan of eggs. We have our own chickens as well. Maybe that results in me eating a lot of eggs, meaning that I kind of have to like eggs. I don't know. But yeah, scrambled eggs would be my first
That's
first
good.
guess. Yeah.
What is your process of making the scrambled eggs? Because do you know that Gordon Ramsay released a tutorial for making them that just changed the game for me?
hmm
What's your making process?
It really depends on what we have in the kitchen. You know, every now and then you have new stuff that you could put into the scrambled eggs. You know, like ideally it would be salmon. I love salmon. Um, but in all honesty, most of the time it's really just the basic, simple version of it, or even just baking an egg and then just turn it around without any additions. As long as there's eggs, I'm happy in a way.
Nice. That's funny. On April Fools, you should release a tutorial on how to make scrambled eggs.
Well, I always have a challenge for April 1st. I think I did it every year. I did weird things. Before Apple Vision was there, I did an article on Apple Glass.
Yeah.
I once had a coding example where I was calculating with emojis, and I made it look like that was actually something you could do. So I really challenge myself to come up with a really good thing every year on April Fool's. So I'm not sure if the scrambled eggs fits that level of joke that I'm at now, but
No,
I could give it a thought.
please don't. No, I remember. I remember the Apple Glass. I'm like, okay, actually, yeah, no, this is definitely not up to par with the level of.
Mm, yeah, I just really like doing it, and I'm not sure if Paul sees it the same way, but I always know that Paul Hudson does a really great job at April Fools.
Yeah.
My dog actually barking with Swift was one of his jokes, and my dog was in that movie. I always get in touch with him around April Fools to see like, hey, what are you up to this year? Like it's kind of like a challenge for me to stay up par, so to say. Yeah.
That's awesome. Um, Talking about the process of articles and writing content for the blog, what is your usual process for how do you
Hmm.
start writing tutorials? Like, how do you go about it when you have an idea and you're like, okay, I'm going to write about this?
Yeah, I have different approaches. Like right now, I'm kind of like I'm just done with the course. I focused 8 weeks solely on the course, and now I'm getting back into coding, so to say. And last week I started to dive into Swift testing, and my initial approach was to just write one big article on the topic. But as soon as I dove deeper into the topic, like I always start with like just the headlines, right? Like headers, header one, header two, like getting a hierarchy of the article. And just based on those headers, I found out like, okay, this is going to be like a too big article, not worth anything because you will get lost in that article. So in this example, I kind of like started with the idea of a big article, and it turns out that I now have like 6 or 7 weeks plan ahead for articles that I will write about. Um, Another approach is that I want to do a talk at SwiftLeeds, and it's going to be about Swift concurrency. So let me become an expert and find out which topics I need to know for that talk. So I write about every single topic. Kind of like win-win situations, like I try to write about something that I really need as well in a way. And
Mhm.
once I have those articles in place, it's kind of like a smaller step to create a presentation of it because I can reuse that content and so on. Um, yeah, that's basically how I do it. And sometimes, even though I plan ahead now for Swift testing to be my topic for the coming weeks, it could be that next week I find out about something in Rocket Sim, um, and it's top of mind. So I want to write about it right away because if you're in the context of something, it's much more easier to write about it as well. And um, even if I would save that topic for later, I'm pretty sure that if I write it right now, it would be a much higher value article because I know so much about it while in the context compared to writing it 2 weeks or 2 months from now while getting back into it in a way. So many different approaches, so to say, but I think the key for me is to, I start writing and in 2 hours it needs to go live. I don't want to revisit it because if I do, I want to rewrite the whole article because I think differently about it, or there's always something you can improve. And in my opinion, the best version is the first version, and if it's not, I'll get feedback and I'll improve accordingly. And that really allowed me to, stick to the streak of posting a new article every week.
Nice. Do you give like a beta version of the article to anyone to review before, or do you go
No,
for nice? So that's
yeah,
cool.
no. I mean, I think in the very beginning kind of like thought about that, but it's also kind of like doubting your own quality in a way. And I
Hmm.
think I always thought like, like I write for free. You can read my articles for free. This is what you get. And if it's not good for you, then either let me know or just go to another blog. And no offense, right? But this just helps me. That mindset helps me to just um, push it out quickly. And like, like writing articles today is so different from writing my first articles in 2017. The quality is automatically much higher due to my experience. So I guess there's less of a need for me to do that now.
Yeah,
But
for
if
sure.
you're listening and you want to start out your blog and you do have doubts about the quality and you do want to get some kind of verification, I would definitely recommend or feel free to do it. Right, this works for me, and it's definitely not a golden approach for anyone.
Mhm. I think it's amazing to learn because, as I said, like as a fan of your blog, I always think that the quality of the articles are going to be like top notch, and I'm not just saying it because there's a lot of articles, some medium articles, like someone that maybe posts for the first time or just post occasionally, and you can tell the difference. I think it's very clear. So I'm so surprised that they're done so quickly, because for me, like not it's not that I procrastinate, but I spend too much time being worried before I post something, that I think there's so much that I could have posted and I didn't. um so
Yeah.
that's the deadline is
Well,
interesting.
yeah,
It's good.
yeah, and it's in a way sad, right? Like think about it, how much more you could have achieved if you would just publish it and revisit it if it turns out to be bad, because maybe it isn't even bad, right? Like,
Yeah.
and there's a fun fact, like the best entrepreneurs are those with a lower level of knowledge because they don't overthink what they do, they just do it, right? So the smartest people think through everything and don't do actions. So if you consider that, I much rather, learn by shipping is something I always say as well, and embrace failure as a learning tool. Seek for progress. Yeah, seek for progress, because that is the best way to learn, and it's okay to fail, so to say, right? Like that is the key maybe here.
It's almost like the agile approach to blogging, right? As in, like, just get it out there and get feedback, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that you worry about it, right? Like, you want to seek for a certain level of quality, but ultimately it shouldn't stop you from publishing it, because then it's the wrong approach, right? So there is a balance. Be worried a little bit, maybe for 5 minutes, and then push it out. And then, if somebody tells you like, hey, you made a small mistake here in this chapter, well, you go back to the article and you update it, and that's fine, right? Yeah, I don't know. That is my way of looking at it. Yeah.
But it's really interesting. I like this. I'm gonna maybe try this, because an issue I have, like, when I've given a few conference talks, but the only reason why I think I've been following through with them is the fact that there's a deadline, right? There's a conference day. So at the end of the day, yeah, like the few weeks before, it's just a haze of like, oh my God, I have to get this done. It has to be perfect. And then, whatever you have on the day is what you present. And it always turns out good. But because I feel like I actually had bought a domain for my blog that I've never published anything on, because I'm like,
too bad.
like, I was like, oh, I've written this, like, it's not going to be good. I have to fix it. It's not going to be good. I have to fix it. But because there's no deadline and there's no one there that's like giving me the pressure to publish, I never do it. And I never, you know what you just like really highlighted why I've never posted anything, because this is the reason. I don't have a deadline.
You know what's funny? We didn't talk about my topic for the talk yet for SwiftLeeds, but the things we discuss right now are actually the points that I'll be presenting about. And it's basically my way of working that made it possible for me to go indie. And deadlines is another one. Accountability is so important. I have several friends that keep me accountable for like the larger goals, or where we just discuss like, hey, what are your quarterly goals and what did you achieve? And they keep me accountable that if I don't achieve it, they'll get back to me like, hey, why didn't you write that article that you promised me to write about? And it's fine if I didn't make it, but I have to reflect and I have to be honest with myself, like, why didn't I do it? And that's the same with deadlines, right? If for example, you post on Twitter, like, next week, this article will go live. As simple as that. You already promote your article. It's a public deadline. And even though maybe nobody will see it or come back to you like, hey, where's that article? It's still in your head, and it's still kind of like a reason to push it out because you promised it to the unknown public in a way, right? I think it's just super important to have accountability in your workflow.
Wow. Okay, this is amazing. I'm super excited for the talk. It's going to be really good. I was trying to like ask and prepare questions when we were talking earlier. We're like, oh, we don't want to spoil the talk too much. But I feel like this is already a good, like, this has caught my attention 100%. Like, I need to see the whole thing. It's like a 45 minutes or 30 minutes, 45. How long is the talk this year?
In all honesty, I didn't prepare the talk yet, so I'm not entirely sure yet. But something around that. And I mean, the talk is just one part, right? Like, I'll be at the conference, so the talk will continue afterwards, talking about the topics.
Yes.
Yeah, but and this frustrates me sometimes as well. There's so much more potential. Even believing in your own potential is different than the potential you actually have, and the mindset, the way of approaching things, is often a huge motivator or root of not reaching higher levels or higher goals, and not per se your knowledge, or because you can train your knowledge, you can learn something, but it's if you don't take the step to do it, if you don't dare to do it and go out and progress, you can have as much knowledge as you have, but you won't achieve anything, right? So I think we can use some motivational boosts here or techniques to conquer the challenges that we face.
My gosh, yeah. When, like, sorry to ask, I'm curious now because I'm here like, oh my God, like, this is illuminating for me personally. But how did you, like, were you always like this? Like, how did you ever shift from being like I don't know, maybe
Hmm.
assured yourself to being like, no, like I have the belief in myself, and the belief in myself is what's going to help me achieve.
Yeah, but yeah, your question, have you always been like this? And funny enough, I am. I can actually really look back at different stages in my life where I always tried to make the most out of what I do. And it started with when I was a football player, right? Like I wanted to be
Mm.
the best football player possible. So I did everything in my spare time to get better at football. And then I wanted to I bought a scooter, like the Aprilia from Italy.
Yeah, like a little Vespa thing. Yeah,
Oh,
got it.
you're probably a Vespa fan. I'm not sure, but uh, yeah, it had to be the best one, right? So I tried everything to make it look more beautiful and go faster. Then I became a DJ, a producer. So I taught myself like how to produce music, and I wanted to DJ everywhere I could here in the region. And yeah, then eventually I made my hobby my job, and that's when the blog started, so to say, and that's where I could like do what I do, my full-time job as my hobby as well, where things really started to compound, right? Like you learn during your full-time job and you apply it in your side projects, and constantly seeking for a better version of myself is basically what I always had in my character, I think. And um, yeah, it's not that you need that to progress, right? Like I'm maybe a bit too obsessed sometimes, but it does bring me a lot of good things. And um, yeah, it's just interesting to see if there is a better version of yourself awaiting you tomorrow, isn't it? So
That is okay. I'm gonna clip this, and this is gonna where I'm gonna like listen to every day. That's amazing. Interesting to see if
the
there's
motivational speech from Antoine, yeah.
oh my god, it's interesting to see if there's a better version of yourself waiting to like okay, that is deep.
Yeah.
I'm always interested in like, motivational and self-improvement, but it has like, I don't know, a
Yeah.
flavor of inspiring what you just said that it
Mhm.
tickles my brain a lot. So thank you for that.
And this goes back, right? Like in 2015, I wanted to speak at conferences, and my root says that I want to be a motivational speaker, or I want to talk about things that are less technical, right?
Mhm.
But getting your talk accepted at a conference, if you're not well known and it's not a technical talk about the latest WWC topics or anything like that, it's just super difficult, right? So that's why I started a blog and I became more present, and that's why I got more conference talks. So that is like the root there. But why I'm so excited about this opportunity at SwiftLeeds is it's one of my first non-technical talk where I can really share these kind of things that I am really passionate about, um, on a stage where there's like-minded people that I can hopefully inspire, right? So um, the way you respond now makes me extra happy because it proves again, right? Like it's a passion that I can't really share through an article. That's just difficult to bring it across. And yeah, being able to do it now on stage as well as with my course, right? That
Mhm.
course is not a technical course. If I wanted to make much money, I should have done a technical course on Swift concurrency or something. But I wanted to do this course because it's so close to who I am and how I reached the goals and the destination where I'm at now. And yeah, I think that is a great background story,
Definitely.
and it tells how happy I am with this spot at SwiftLeeds. It's really truly a special talk that I'll get.
It's amazing. And also for those that don't know, the course is called from I'm have it here, from side project to going indie. So it's like a longer, well,
Yeah,
more depth version of your talk. So yeah, if anyone either can't make it to Swift Leads or wants to know more, they can it's on your website so they can check it out. That's
yeah,
amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah.
totally. Yeah,
So we had a question written down, right, which was about like how did you find the time when you kind of had a full time job before going indie, but
yeah,
I actually almost want to flip that on its head, right? Because from what you've just said, you're obviously so passionate, so motivated to do stuff. I like my question now almost is the reverse of that of like how do you stop yourself from being kind of so into work that you have time to, how do you like how do you find that balance, right? Do you see what I mean?
yeah. No, 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 totally. Yeah, it's kind of funny how things flipped, right? Beforehand, I had my full time job and I had to do things on the side, and I did a lot of things in the evening. Sometimes even when the whole family went asleep, I was just Even if it's like 10 minutes a day, over a week, it's more than an hour of progress. And I truly believed in that. I was always prepared for doing effective work in a small bit of time because I knew exactly where I was and I knew exactly which tasks took less time. But now that I'm indie, I don't have to do the evening job anymore because I can do it full time during the day. And even there, I often have time off. I stop earlier on the day and I can actually join the family, right? So the key for me, and that the first 3 modules of my course isn't about how to go indie. It's really about the mindset, the planning, the discipline, because that is like the whole source of everything that you can achieve. And people think that if you do something within 2 months, you need to have a result, but it's really much longer, right? Like it compounds after a much longer time. So it requires discipline and motivation and passion to keep pushing through. And the key for me is a really good planning. And even today, and that surprised me when I went indie, I was like, well, I have plenty of time, it won't be hard to enjoy the free time, but the opposite is in a way true. And that aligns with how it was before. You really need to create a planning and stick to it. Because if you don't create a planning and it's 5 p.m. in the afternoon, you don't know how far you are and how much you already did, right? So it's really easy to just keep on pushing and keep on going. Whereas if you in the morning say like, okay, if I'm able to finish this, and this, that would be an amazing day, right? And you'll be surprised to be done at 3 p.m. and you did the thing that you thought was not possible. And with that mindset, it makes it much easier to stop on 3 p.m., with a fulfilled feeling. And you stop 2 hours earlier, right? And that to me is a learning that I applied back in the days as well as a side project. I just wanted to have this done by the end of the week with the spare time I have. And oftentimes it turned out to be much easier to approach that than before. But not having a planning, where to start and where to end, right? So I think that is key. Set yourself goals and make a planning.
I think that's amazing because if you achieve the goals that you set out, like for example, by the end of today, I'll have this done, or by the end of the week, I'll have this done, that helps build your confidence, which then helps you being like, okay, I can deliver this because I have a proven track record.
Yeah, and it's also a sort of accountability, right? But it's also fulfillment. If I look back what I do in a quarter and I don't keep track of the things that I do, it's super hard to oversee what you've done. And I go as far as sometimes you do something, but you didn't create an issue for it, right? Even the meta tasks. I go as far as that I go back into my project, I create issues for it, and I close them right away, just for the sake of visibility and progress. Oh. And the fulfillment you get after a quarter is just much, much bigger due to it.
Do you ever find that working against you if you perhaps underestimate the amount of work that something's going to take, or is that something that you then come back and go?
Yeah, that happens. That always happens. And it is also the thing, like halfway in the quarter, you add more things to it. That's not how it works, right? But, something is more important that showed up that you didn't know beforehand. I think it's actually a really good tool because you can reflect, why did I think that this was possible and why isn't it possible? Should I reconsider even doing it, right? It's kind of like a natural moment of reflection that I always try to use.
We are gonna wrap up just because I want to talk more, but there's the course, there's the talk, and then you're gonna be a SwiftLead, so it's gonna be it's gonna be amazing to chat there. And at least I'm happy that we got here, because if anyone doesn't have time to make it to SwiftLeeds, I think what you said is going to provide a lot of really, really useful things. So thank you so much, Antoine. And I can't wait for...
Just before you go as well, James is going to be upset if we don't ask his question that he has us to ask.
Oh,
sorry. Sorry, you go.
I'm curious. I know James.
Do you want to go? You go for it. Sorry, I didn't realize you were trailing it.
No, it's true though. I appreciate that, because if we didn't say this, if for some reason I wasn't going to say this, James would literally cry, and we can't have James crying. No, James wants us to ask you, actually. We'll ask you this, and then we're going to wrap up officially. What do you think about the conference being named after SwiftLee? It wasn't, but kind of funny.
Yeah. I've had people approaching me like, "Is this your conference?" You know, it is. It is not. But I do honestly feel like a connection, isn't it? And I think I created a picture of myself on stage because you have the big signs, the big letters, and I was standing in front of the last letters.
Yeah.
So I had
Cropster, yeah.
SwiftLee, I kind of use it in my advantage, I think. But yeah, it definitely creates a more stronger connection with this conference, so to say. So I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Nice. Shout out to James. Sorry, Ollie, if I screamed over you.
No, all good. All good.
I guess he's used to it. We're like this. You're used to it now.
All good. All good.
Perfect example of just doing it and seeing that it fails, right?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt.
That's very much our attitude to podcasting, I think.
Yeah. No, so yeah, Antoine, thank you so much. Oliver, do you
You're
want
welcome.
do you want to send us off with some wonderful quotes? Our usual quote. Have you heard this, Antoine? ChatGPT usually gives us some beautiful ways to conclude the podcast, and they're just works of art, I'd say.
I definitely would not go that far.
We can go for one of the already existing ones, and I want to see the reaction of Antoine if he feels the cringe as much as we do, or if he loves them, maybe.
Yeah. So
it builds
from
up.
Leeds to Code, we're signing off. Until next time, keep your bugs in check and your fingers swift.
Oh boy. AI brings a lot of things, right? But I'm
Podcast
afraid we
taglines
lose
is not.
our own quality in finding ways to do things.
Yeah. Well, here's one. It's keep calm and code swiftly. SwiftLee.
I like
We'll
that.
see you
That's
next
better.
time at SwiftLeeds.
Yeah, keep calm and go to SwiftLee. That's better. No, we're competitors with our name, isn't it? In a way.
Yeah, but Swiftly. I can't wait to see SwiftLee as SwiftLeeds.
Yeah, it's a whole mouthful. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be super fun, and I think
Nice.
this chat only proves that we will have an amazing time there. So really look forward.
Can't wait.
See you soon.
See you soon. Hope to see you at the karaoke as well. And yeah, thank you so much.
There's a piano behind me. She now thinks that I can sing.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah, I was like, there's a piano in the background.
Yeah, it's my wife's.
Fair
Trust
enough.
me.
Fair enough. Anyways.
We'll put it to the test.
Oh no.